This is Lisa, and this is her story.
So my father passed away from myelodysplastic syndrome in May of 2016. He was diagnosed December 2013, so that was a rough time. I mean, we had no idea what myelodysplastic syndrome was, and we never thought, a blood cancer would be possible in my family. And I think the hardest thing was watching him decline. I mean, it was, you never know how long somebody's going to live, or you look at the statistics and you think that they have time, 10 years or so, but he passed really fast. And, I saw him go through chemotherapies. The hospitalizations got more frequent, they got longer, and he ultimately passed. And he needed a transplant at the time, but was too sick to get one. And so after he was diagnosed, or after he passed away, I went to donate blood in his honor, and I tried a couple times and I couldn't because my hemoglobin was too low. And, they tell you everything like, oh, eat a high, iron diet. So I'm like, oh great, I'm gonna eat a steak every single day. And I tried again to donate blood, and I couldn't because my hemoglobin was still low, and that was a red flag to me. And actually, probably since I was a child, probably since then, I never actually had a primary care physician. I've ultimately always been healthy, never been sick from anything, and so it's been a whirlwind. I think the first time I tried to donate blood was probably back in June. Then I had my first doctor's visit in July. He referred me to a hematologist. They did a bone marrow biopsy, and at that time it was inconclusive. My blood looked abnormal, but nothing definitively that looked like cancer. And then it just started to progress, and then you get that phone call when you give a routine blood count, and they say you need to come in for another biopsy. This could either be, a chronic leukemia or an acute leukemia. And you're like, those are the only two options as a leukemia at 30 years old. It's really hard to wrap your head around, especially when your father passed away just shortly after. And I think the most tragic and hard part of this was making that phone call home to my sister, to my mom. We just went through this with Dad, and by the way, I also have blood cancer. I felt a lot of guilt. My mom hasn't yet grieved it. My sister hasn't with my dad's passing. So just to throw this on them I felt a lot of guilt, and it was hard to wrap my head around. I look fine. I act fine. I act completely healthy, and to have her youngest daughter also have a cancer and have her husband pass away from a very similarly related blood cancer, I think was a lot to swallow. But she came with me to a doctor's appointment, and they kind of told her how it is, and I think it's a reality check for a parent to hear, if your daughter doesn't get a bone marrow transplant, she will die from this. This is Dinah Malkin. She's been one of my best friends for a number of years. She was actually the one that talked me into trying to donate blood after my father passed. I mean, her father passed away of cancer too, so it just made sense that we do something in memory of both of our fathers. So she's kind of been on this journey with me and has been through doctor's appointments with me, been there. I squeezed her hand when I was getting a bone marrow biopsy, so she's kind of been with me through everything.
So this week has gone by, and yesterday Lisa sent me a photo of her hair on top of her head like this, and she asked me if it was too much volume, and I was like, I just, somebody that can have that kind of humor and positive attitude in spite of just such crappy hand that she's been given. A professor and a mutual colleague say, wow, is she working? I'm like, you cannot keep Lisa from working. You just can't. I mean, it's weekends, she's studying journals and preparing talks, and her patients, I mean, I've never met a more dedicated person to their work and what they do for other people, you know. And to hear her say she has guilt about something that she has no control over, I just think, well, that's Lisa. She's always thinking about other people and not herself.
I think the purpose in this, and it's something that I slowly had to come around to be quite honest, work is something that I'm highly passionate about, and I think coming out of the cancer closet was hard for me. It's when you're 30 years old, you think that you're buying a house, or my friends are getting married. That's what you think your life is at 30 years old, and then all of a sudden you're hit with a cancer diagnosis, and you lose yourself. You lose your sense of self, your identity. And I didn't want that to impact my work, which is why I was very hesitant about telling people about my diagnosis. But the amount of support has been tremendous and overwhelming and inspiring, quite frankly, because what I do for a living is work with cancer patients, and I would never expect them to be ashamed of their diagnosis. So it resonates with me a little bit whenever I have my patients who are very open with their diagnosis and willing to take that on. So I think a lot of what this campaign, what I hope it brings, is just awareness about you never know when a diagnosis is going to hit you. You can be the healthiest person one day and get stricken with cancer. You never know. And what I hope this brings is, number one, awareness, but also, two, is the need for bone marrow donors. It's a cancer that is dependent on other people, and not from a financial standpoint, not from a time standpoint, but all it takes is to swab your cheek and to ultimately save somebody's life. And I think that's what is, causes me anxiety sometimes with this diagnosis, is that it is dependent on somebody else for a cure. So I think that's a message that I want to share with people, is you can make a difference and you can save a life and you can really inspire change, and that's what I hope this campaign brings.